What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gage Dillon and today we're going to shake things up a little bit and talk about a movie that may seem a little bit out of place here on my channel. So today we're going to be talking about the Mean Girls 2024 musical movie that came out just last Friday, or quite a few Fridays depending on whenever I upload this video. Anyways, so to begin with, I'm a huge fan of the original Mean Girls movie. I first watched it back as a sophomore in high school and I remember falling in love with it immediately. I remember even playing the game that they had on Episode because I love the characters and Mean Girls universe so much. I was obsessed. So I was definitely excited, but of course like a little apprehensive for the new movie, but it was definitely not what I expected and I can't wait to get into it with you guys today. But first and foremost, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot, and hit the notification bell so you know whenever I post new videos. Also, this will be a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen this, or even the original Mean Girls movie for that matter, I checked them out first, but if you already have and or don't care about spoilers, let's go ahead and get right into the review. So to start off with the characters, I thought all of the characters were pretty good in the movie for the most part. I do feel like some of them were a bit underutilized given how the movie kind of was structured. So the characters are kind of a hybrid of the Broadway musical version and the movie version, which I thought was pretty interesting because you get some characters delivering lines differently or some characters delivering lines that were delivered by other characters. So it's interesting to see how some things stayed the same but also changed. Katie, for example, who was played by Angourie Rice, I thought she did a very good job. Didn't really remind me of Lindsay Lohan's version of Katie very much. She kind of brought her own thing to it. She somewhat like physically resembles Lindsay Lohan to me for some reason. I don't know, I think that was kind of like the point, but she was probably like the one character where I was like, okay, like they could like totally like be the same character. But again, definitely brought her own thing to the role. I thought she did really well, sang pretty good too. I'm not a music critic, so I'm not sure like what other people's opinions are on the music or how the cast sang in this movie. I've kind of been like hearing both sides on social media, but for the most part, I thought everyone that sang in this movie did a really good job. Regina, played by Renee Rapp, amazing. I loved every single song that she sang. She did a phenomenal job. I would say that her standout to me as far as being Regina would be the singing. Phenomenal voice, phenomenal performance whenever performing the musical scenes. She did a very good job. As far as the character for Regina, I feel like she was a little bit like kind of unbalanced whenever it came to playing Regina. Rachel McAdams brought like a love to hate type of vibe to the role in the 2004 movie. Regina would just sometimes come off straight up mean in this movie, which I mean, again, is the point, but like there were some times where she would say things that were just like mean, like there was no punchline. It was just like, kind of like it was just, it wasn't fun. So there were some moments where it was just kind of like, okay, that could have like had like some kind of joke included in there so it doesn't like come off too unlikable from the character. But for the most part, definitely plays the role as you would expect. But I feel like Rachel McAdams' version, which I mean, it's kind of unfair to compare this movie to the 2004 movie, but I feel like it's inevitable. It's gonna happen. But I feel like whereas Rachel McAdams kind of brought like a fun love to hate type of vibe for the character, I think that Regina was just kind of like played like straight up mean here, at least until the very end. So that was definitely something a little bit different, but Renee Rapp did a phenomenal job. However, now when it comes to characters that were underutilized, I will include Katie. However, I forgot to mention that whereas she did a great job being Katie and everything, I feel like her character was kind of moved from being the main character to kind of just like being on the same level of Janice and Damien, but we'll talk about that in a second. Gretchen, played by B.B. Wood, I remember her from Love, Victor. I thought she did a pretty good job at playing Gretchen. She played it, I mean, I guess how you would expect Gretchen. She played it really well. Not really like any kind of like standout moments, I guess, just kind of like a really like average character. I feel like there could have been maybe like one or two more scenes with her in it, or some dialogue or something, because I also felt the same way with Karen, who was played by Avantika. I kind of liked her character just a little bit better than Gretchen because unfortunately I love B.B. Wood, but she was just not given enough material to work with, in my opinion. Even her song was kind of short. Karen is again kind of like relegated to being a background character when it comes to like, you know, the movie. Regina, Katie, Janice, and Damien, they're all like at the forefront. So Karen and Gretchen kind of took a back seat compared to the movie, Aaron too, but I think that Karen stood out to me just a little bit because like, whereas I feel like she kind of like overplayed it a little bit with like the super like bugged out like spacey like eyes to like, you know, encapsulate the like whole like dumb character vibe and whatever. I think it was like a little bit like too overplayed, but besides that, like I think her character was just so fun and lovable. She did a really good job whenever it came time for her to do her dance number at the Halloween party. Sexy is one of my favorite songs in the movie. I thought she did a really good job. So it's a shame that she, again, was also underutilized with Gretchen, but at least she got a few standout moments and some good jokes at the very least. We have Aaron, who is pretty much barely a supporting character compared to the amount of time that he had in the 2004 movie. Chris Briney did fine. I haven't seen him in anything that I can think of. He didn't sing, he just kind of, he had very few lines too, like now that I think about it. So, I mean, not really much to say about his character other than that, I mean, he was Aaron. He was fine. Coming in next, we have Janice, who was played by Ali E. Craval. I know I said that wrong. I'm sorry. I thought she did a really good job. I loved all of her songs. She has such a good voice, and I was really like surprised to find out that she's played by the same actress who voices Moana. Definitely gonna check Moana out now because I thought that she had a really good voice in this movie and I loved all of her songs. So I would definitely be interested in checking out other projects that she sings in. Like I said before though, whenever we were talking about Katie, Janice seems to somewhat be like the main character now, along with Damien, who's played by Jaquel Spivey, again, so sorry. They seem a little bit more like the main characters now. We're following them instead of Katie as far as narration goes. I thought that they did a really good job, you know, being Janice and Damien. It was nice to have them get a little bit more screen time compared to the 2004 movie. Damien was probably one of my like top favorite characters. I thought that the actor who plays him brought really great comedic timing and was really fun to watch on screen. Unfortunately, he didn't seem to get that much time to sing, which is really unfortunate because he had a really good voice from the times that I was able to hear him sing in the movie. So it's definitely a bummer that he didn't get to sing quite as much as the other characters, but he definitely shined whenever he got the chance to. After that, you kind of have just like the supporting characters such as Regina's mom, Principal Duval, and Mrs. Norbury, who are again played by Tim Meadows and Tina Fey, and then you find out later that they're married. That was kind of cute. Then you even have a cameo from Lindsay Lohan herself, who is the Mathletes tournament host. That was a nice surprise. I was not aware that she was in the movie at all. That was nice that they covered it up for as long as they did, because I didn't even see the movie when it came out, like on its release day. So I was on TikTok and stuff seeing stuff about the movie, didn't catch that, so it was a nice surprise for sure. I also even heard that Ashley Park from the MeanGirls musical Broadway, who played Gretchen, is in this movie. She played the French teacher. That was a nice surprise. I thought it was a nice little funny cameo. But beyond that, that's pretty much a rundown of all the characters that make an appearance in this movie. As far as story goes, basically this was the same story. However, I mean, there are some notable differences given that this was an adaptation of the Broadway musical version. So in a way, that was using the 2004 movie as a basis for what was going to be featured in the play, which again included songs, obviously. But I think the 2024 musical adaptation does a nice job of blending together what we got in the original Mean Girls 2004 movie and then what came later in the Mean Girls Broadway musical adaptation. One pet peeve that some people might have with the movie, I didn't mind it too much, is that there are some lines in this movie that, again, I think I said this earlier, are like word for word the same, just sometimes delivered like a little bit differently. Obviously it's a different actor, so they're gonna have a different way of delivering the line. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. Some people could like see it as lazy or repetitive given that it was already seen in the 2004 movie. But given that the movie is the way that it is, I thought it worked pretty well. I liked hearing some of the newer actors say lines from back in the original movie. It brought something like nostalgic to the new movie to me, I guess. I didn't mind it at all. I really liked it, but I guess it just depends on how you feel about like fan service like that. It could go either way. Now, circling back to the music, I did not actually watch the Broadway musical version of Mean Girls. I just watched the 2004 movie and then this movie, so I'll definitely have to check out the musical adaptation because I've only seen like snippets of it on YouTube after watching this movie, but I did hear that some songs were cut from this movie and like one or two or something were added or altered, or they did something with the songs just to make sure that they had enough time to fit the important ones into the movie, I guess. Not 100% sure on what happened there. I just know that there were a lot more songs in the actual musical itself. But from what we got, I would say that like starting from like the beginning, I have like little notes here because there are honestly way too many to remember by name. So to start off with, A Cautionary Tale by Janice and Damien, which kicks off the movie. I thought that the song was a nice entry into the movie. It was obviously very like professionally done, yeah, which was kind of weird since it was shot like on a phone, but again, it's a movie, so you kind of gotta just like suspend that disbelief. So it kind of takes you out a little bit, but it's like a cute like little like entry song to the movie, so I thought it was all right. Leading into What Ifs, had a great beat and energy to it. Angry Rice did fine singing. Again, I'm not a music critic. Nothing really, you know, amazing about that song. Nothing terrible. I thought it was just, again, pretty all right. Meet the Plastics by Renee Rapp. I heard that Gretchen and Karen had some like part in the song and the musical, but they cut it here because of time or something. That's unfortunate, but Renee did a great job with what she was given. I like how anytime Regina has musical numbers, they're shot like a horror movie. She did a great job with it. Her voice was phenomenal and she did a great job with what she was given. Really liked it a lot, even though it could have been longer and included Gretchen and Karen. Following that, we have Stupid with Love by Angry Rice and the cast of MeanGirls. Again, another pretty okay song. Nothing stands out about it, but nothing is like terrible about it. However, the next song that it leads into, I'm actually a pretty big fan of, Apex Predator. I thought that one was done really nicely. I love the cinematography and choreography that went with it. And again, like I had said earlier, I wish he had a little bit more singing in the movie. Followed by that, we have What's Wrong With Me by B.B. Wood. A little bit short, nothing terrible about it or like, again, amazing. It's just a pretty average song. After that, you have Sexy by Avantika, which is at the Halloween party. Really like that one a lot. I loved Karen's character, and I thought the transition from her character to her character singing was done really well. It had a really great beat and brought a lot of good energy, so I really enjoyed that one. Coming in next, we have Someone Gets Hurt by Renee Rapp. I thought that one was really good. I loved seeing Regina again have the like horror type of like cinematography included with her musical numbers. I thought it fit her character really well, and her vocals are just amazing. So this song is definitely one of my favorites. Followed by that, you have Revenge Party. I have heard a little bit of this one on TikTok, doing a comparison side by side. In the movie, watching it like without any prior knowledge of how the original one sounded, I thought it was really fun. However, after hearing them side by side, I feel like this one could have had just like at least a little bit more energy to it. The cast kind of sounds a little bit asleep in the performance, but again, I thought that their vocals were great and the musical number was fun, so that's pretty much what counted for me at least. Then after that, you have World Burn with the Burn Book and Regina and everything. I thought that one was great. Renee just kills all of these songs. She does an amazing job. Really enjoyed this one. I loved all of the visuals and how it kind of like brings some things back from the original like scene of all of the people finding the burn book and stuff, and then like kind of like updates it with its own like social media spin and like, you know, modern times shit and stuff. So I thought that was a really fun sequence and really good song. Again, Renee Rapp rules this movie. I'd Rather Be Me by Janice, one of my favorite songs, of course. I thought Janice's actress did a great job. It had great energy. Her singing was phenomenal. The camera kind of like swoops and like spins around and shit and like kind of like brings that like musical cinematography. I thought it was a nice switch up from the traditional cinematography from the original 2004 movie. Oh, and at the end of that musical number, Regina gets hit by the bus. That's obviously very memorable whenever it comes. But following that, you have I See Stars, which is again performed by Angry Rice. I thought it was a nice wrap up to the movie. Everything kind of just like resolves itself, I guess, within the spring fling. You don't really kind of get like that jump in time like the end of the original movie does. So this one kind of just ends there, and it has the I See Stars song sung by Angry Rice and the cast of MeanGirls. So it really is kind of like a nice wraparound ending for the movie, since we don't really get that epilogue like in the original. And then at the very end, you have Not My Fault, which is performed by Renee Rapp and Megan Thee Stallion. I've had that song on repeat since it came out.
Like in love with me. Where she at? What she doing? Who she with and where she from? Oh, she's this.
Very catchy. Love that it was used for the end credits song with like intercut footage of the cast having fun at the spring fling dance behind the scenes. Definitely a really nice way to end the movie. It brought a lot of great energy and was just a really great song to end the movie with. All right, so that pretty much covers all the songs. I'm really interested to see what was not included in the movie, given that there was like time constraints and budget restrictions or whatever. I'm interested to see what they left out because I love Mean Girls everything, and I think up until this point, I wasn't even like aware that there was a musical. So I'm definitely gonna give it a watch now that I've seen both of these. I'm really interested to see what I missed out on and what probably could have been included in this movie. So yeah, definitely gonna check it out. All right, but as far as final thoughts go, I would say it's great and fun. It's not perfect or amazing, but just a great like turn off your brain and have fun type of movie. Also, your enjoyment depends on how much you like musicals. I wouldn't say that I'm a like huge fan of musicals. I don't dislike them either. It's whenever the opportunity comes up, I will watch one if it's like, you know, something that somewhat interests me. Mean Girls is one of my favorite things, so obviously I was gonna check this one out and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The music brought great energy and a different tone for the movie. As for the dialogue, it still brought the comedy, and like I said, it still had some classic jokes, but they were given like updates that, while not all of them landed, they were still fun to see again, especially if you love the older movie. The new jokes also worked pretty well too in giving the movie its own style, so they worked pretty well alongside the old jokes that were taken from the original movie. Bottom line, it was a really fun movie slash musical that was not to be taken like seriously at all and was just to have fun with for what it is. Also, by the way, as for the people that claim to not know that it was a musical, it would probably be highly advised to at least like look into the movie that you're purchasing a ticket for before unnecessarily hating on it online due to lack of common sense, research, or simply reading into the movie that you're choosing to go see. If you would have like maybe paid attention to like the marketing, like in some like small capacity, you probably could have been able to tell that it was a musical. I mean, for fuck's sake, there's like a musical note in the A for the movie. And if you just Google it, it'll tell you it's a musical. Like, the amount of hate that I saw online for this movie just because they didn't know it was a musical was kind of like, it was shocking. Like, you can't like do a quick Google search to know like what you're paying to go see. Like, come on now. But anyways, guys, that pretty much wraps up this video. That's my thoughts on the new Mean Girls movie. I really enjoyed it, but I'd love to hear what you guys thought. So let me know down in the comments below if you've seen the new Mean Girls movie and what you thought of it. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and share, and I'll see you in the next one.